Only one team has ever successfully defended the World Cup title in the modern era. One. Out of every nation that has ever lifted that trophy, only one managed to come back 4 years later and do it again. That tells you everything about how brutally difficult winning this tournament really is. So, when we ask which 5 teams have the best chance of winning the 2026 World Cup, hosted across the United States, Canada, and Mexico, we are not just picking the most talented squads. We are trying to find the teams that can handle pressure nobody outside a World Cup can prepare you for. And one of these 5 has a case so strong, it is genuinely hard to argue against them. The 2026 edition is already historic before a single ball has been kicked. For the first time ever, 48 teams will compete, meaning more matches, more drama, and far more chances for a surprise to derail even the most prepared sides. The road to the final is longer than it has ever been, and that matters enormously when you are picking a winner. This ranking is built on 5 pillars: squad depth, key players, tactical identity, recent tournament performances, and the one thing most people underestimate: the ability to absorb a bad game and still advance. Every team on this list has earned their place, but they are not equal. And by the end of this video, we will tell you exactly which team we believe walks away as world champions in July 2026. Let us start at number 5. 5. England. There is a version of this conversation that does not include England at all. Decades of near misses, penalty shootout heartbreak, and tournament collapses have made a lot of football fans deeply skeptical of putting the Three Lions anywhere near a list like this. And that skepticism is not entirely wrong, but something has shifted. Under Gareth Southgate, and then his successor, England built something that actually resembles a coherent footballing identity, not just a collection of Premier League stars hoping individual brilliance carries them through. They reached the semi-finals at the 2018 World Cup in Russia. They went to the final of Euro 2020, losing on penalties to Italy. They reached the semi-finals again at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, only to be dismantled by France in a match that genuinely could have gone differently. The talent is not in question. Jude Bellingham is one of the most complete midfielders in the world at an age when most players are still figuring out their position. Up front, the competition for starting spots is intense in a way England have not had in years. The fullback positions have genuine international quality. And in goal, there is stability. England's tactical strength lies in their ability to control games through midfield, to dominate possession in key moments, and make the game slow and difficult when they need to. That pragmatism, occasionally maddening to their own fans, is actually a tournament asset. But here is the concern nobody around England wants to talk about. When the game moves beyond their comfort zone, when the opposition presses them high, disrupts their rhythm, and forces the game into chaos, England have repeatedly found themselves unable to adapt quickly enough. France exposed this in Qatar. A team with genuine flexibility and pressure-resistant nerve has found England vulnerable more than once. Their path to the final runs through what will be a brutal knockout bracket. To win the whole thing, they will almost certainly have to beat at least 2 of the other teams on this list. Possible. Absolutely possible. But nothing about England's recent history suggests they do it with ease. No country on earth has more expectation, more pressure, and more history riding on a single football tournament than Brazil. 5 world titles. The most iconic players the game has ever seen. And yet, the last time a Brazilian player lifted that trophy was 2002, over 2 decades ago. The years since have not been kind. A 7-1 defeat to Germany on home soil in 2014 remains one of the most shocking results in the tournament's history. Qatar 2022 ended in the quarterfinals, eliminated by Croatia on penalties after leading well into extra time and somehow letting the game slip away. For a footballing nation of Brazil's stature, these are wounds that do not heal quickly. What Brazil still possess is individual talent in abundance. Vinícius Jr. at Real Madrid has become one of the most dangerous attackers on the planet, a player who can take a game by the scruff of the neck in ways that very few players in history could. Around him is a generation of technically gifted players comfortable with the ball, capable of moments of genius that other squads simply cannot replicate. Tactically, Brazil have been working to build a more structured defensive foundation without sacrificing the creativity that defines their identity. It is a difficult balance. The best Brazilian sides of the past were great because they attacked with freedom and defended with discipline. Recapturing both simultaneously is the challenge. The concern, and it is a real one, is mentality under the heaviest pressure. In decisive moments, Croatia's goalkeeper proved that Brazil's penalty discipline was fragile. And there are questions about whether the current squad, talented as it is, has the tournament hardness of those legendary sides from earlier decades. Brazil are dangerous. They are not to be underestimated, but there is something incomplete about this project, and the 2026 tournament may arrive just before, rather than exactly when, they are truly ready. 3. Spain. If you're looking for the team most likely to make the 2026 World Cup look almost unfairly easy at times, Spain might be your answer. And yet they sit at number 3, which tells you a great deal about the strength of the teams above them. Spain's recent trajectory has been quietly spectacular. After years of being a faded version of the tiki-taka side that dominated world football between 2008 and 2012, they rebuilt their identity around a new generation of genuinely exceptional players. Their under-21 tournament performances have been extraordinary. The pipeline from La Masia and other top academies is producing technically brilliant footballers at a remarkable rate. Senior level, they showed their quality by winning Euro 2024 in Germany, beating France, Germany, and England across the knockout rounds to lift the trophy. That is not a soft tournament run. That is defeating the best of Europe on the biggest stages, and doing it with a style that was both dominant and deeply exciting to watch. Pedri, when fit, is arguably the best central midfielder of his generation, a player who makes difficult things invisible, who finds space where none appears to exist. Lamine Yamal arrived on the biggest stage at Euro 2024 as a teenager, and was simply undeniable. The full squad has depth and versatility that most nations cannot match. Tactically, Spain press with purpose and pass with intelligence. They can suffocate opponents for long stretches, and their ability to control the tempo of a game is second to none in international football. But here is the thing about Spain that the numbers alone will not tell you. They have a history of not consistently transferring European dominance into World Cup glory at the same level. The 2010 title was their only World Cup. Knockout football over a longer tournament, against South American opposition with different styles, and across a punishing schedule in North American summer heat, Spain will face all of this. And the physical demands of pressing football over 7 games in those conditions is something their coaches will know is a real consideration. They are exceptional. They may well win it. But at number 3, we believe there are 2 teams whose overall case is marginally stronger. The team at number 2 has a weakness almost nobody is talking about. And once you see it, you will not be able to unsee it. 2. France. France are, by any rational measure, one of the best assembled international squads in the history of the game. The depth at their disposal is frankly obscene. Their striker options, their midfield options, their defensive quality, position by position, France can match or beat almost any team in the world. They won the World Cup in 2018 in Russia, playing with tactical intelligence, absorbing pressure, and punishing opponents on the counterattack with devastating precision. In Qatar 2022, they reached the final again. They were 80 minutes from going out in the quarterfinals, then recovered to beat England. They won a stunning comeback semi-final against Morocco, and in the final itself, Kylian Mbappé scored a hat-trick and nearly forced a penalty shootout after being 3-1 down with 10 minutes to play. France lost. But losing a World Cup final after a comeback like that is not the same as losing control. Mbappé is the central figure. At his best, he is the most complete forward in world football, pace that defenders genuinely cannot live with, a left foot that makes the ball do things it probably should not, and a growing maturity in big games that makes him even more dangerous than when he first arrived. Around him, the options are exceptional. Their tactical structure under Didier Deschamps has always prioritized defensive solidity first, with the understanding that the attacking talent will create chances regardless. It is not always beautiful. French fans have sometimes been frustrated by it. But it works at tournaments, and working at tournaments is the only thing that matters. Now, the weakness. France's squad management and cohesion have been a recurring issue beneath the surface. Internal tensions, players who feel they should start and do not, the challenge of keeping a group of elite individuals unified across 6 weeks, It has created friction before. They managed it in 2018. In 2022, injuries to key players disrupted their rhythm at the worst possible moment. Over a 48-team expanded format that demands even more from the squad, keeping everyone bought in and available is harder than ever. There is also the question of what happens when a game gets tight in the semi-final or final and France need to win it, not just survive it. Their conservative instinct can sometimes work against them. Argentina found a way through it in Qatar's final. A team willing to press France's defensive line aggressively, disrupt their build-up, and force them into a reactive game can make this squad look mortal. France are number 2 because they are absolutely capable of winning this tournament. But the team at number 1 has something France, for all their talent, do not quite have. Argentina. Let us be honest about what Argentina have done since July 2021. Copa America 2021 won. Finalissima against Italy in 2022 won. 3-0 FIFA World Cup 2022 won. Copa America 2024 won. Argentina have not lost a competitive international match in over 3 years. That is not luck. That is a team that has found something, a belief, a system, a collective identity, that makes them deeply difficult to beat. And yet, the conversation always comes back to Lionel Messi, because it has to. In Qatar 2022, Messi delivered arguably the greatest individual tournament performance in World Cup history. 7 goals, 3 assists, every crucial moment flowing through him. His final against France was one of the most extraordinary sporting events most people alive today will ever witness, going 2-0 up, falling back to 2-2 in the last 10 minutes, going 3-2 up in extra time, conceding again, then winning on penalties while the entire football world held its breath. But this is where the Argentina story in 2026 becomes genuinely fascinating, rather than straightforwardly obvious. Messi will be 38 years old during the tournament. 38. That is not a disqualifying factor. He has shown repeatedly that the rules of physical decline do not apply to him in the way they apply to most players. But the load management, the number of matches in which he is truly decisive at full intensity, these are real considerations that Lionel Scaloni will have to navigate. What makes Argentina the number 1 pick is what exists beyond Messi. This team, perhaps more than any other, has genuinely developed a system and an identity that does not collapse the moment their greatest player has a quiet game. Julian Alvarez is a relentless pressing forward who creates space and finishes with ice. Rodrigo de Paul is the engine in midfield, the player who makes Argentina aggressive rather than passive. The defensive structure under Scaloni is compact, aggressive, and extremely difficult to break down quickly. Tactically, Argentina press high in waves, recover shape quickly, and transition from defense to attack with a speed and directness that catches even well-organized sides off guard. They do not just sit behind the ball and protect Messi, they hunt, they force errors. And when they get space to run at a defense, the quality they have going forward is matched only by France on this list. Most importantly, and this is perhaps the most underrated factor in picking any World Cup winner, Argentina know exactly how to win this specific tournament. They have done it. They have been in the final with 10 minutes to go, 3-2 down, facing the most talented attacking player on the planet for the opposition, and they held it together. That experience lives in this squad. It is not something you can simulate in a training session. There is still risk. Messi's age and fitness remain the variable nobody can fully account for. An early injury to a key player could fundamentally change the shape of the team. And in a 48-team tournament with more matches, more potential banana skin games in the early rounds, the possibility of an upset in the round of 16 is higher than ever. But right now, today, if you had to place your trust in one team to negotiate 6 weeks, 7 games, and the pressure of being defending world champions in front of a North American audience that has never seen anything like this, it is Argentina. So there it is. 5 teams, 5 very different cases. England, with the talent finally assembled, but the tournament nerves still unproven at the very highest level. Brazil, rebuilding their identity around a generation that is close to ready, but perhaps not quite there yet. Spain, playing football of a quality that regularly looks like a different sport entirely, fresh off a European title. France, the most talented squad in the world on paper, dangerous at every position, but carrying a fragility beneath the surface. And Argentina, reigning world champions, still led by the greatest player in history, and in possession of something more valuable than any individual: the absolute certainty that they know how to win. Here is the thing about World Cups, though. None of this matters on the day a keeper makes 3 saves he had no right to make, or a team finds a goal in the 94th minute of a knockout game. The 2022 final was decided by a goalkeeper's save in a penalty shootout. The 2018 final was blown open by a deflected free kick from 25 meters. This is the World Cup. Surprises are not the exception. They are the guarantee. 48 teams, 3 host nations, an entire planet watching. Which team do you think lifts that trophy in July 2026? Let us know in the comments, and if you think we got the order wrong, tell us exactly where. We read them all.